What's good? Today we got what happened to Pablo Escobar's deadliest hitman. Cartel is something different, I'm not gonna lie.
Boss is thought to be the biggest drug trafficker the world has ever seen. It is estimated that at one point, Pablo Escobar was responsible for 80% of all the cocaine being smuggled over the world.
80%?
The cocaine lord of Colombia was smuggling 15 tons, or nearly $500 million worth of cocaine into the US every day. Along with his massive drug empire, Pablo Escobar also had a ruthless army of serial killers. These men killed for Pablo and were loyal.
What's the other guy's name? Isn't there another guy?
They were called sicarios, and the most famous of these were Popeye, Quica, and Blackie. If you're a fan of the hit Netflix series Narcos, you're probably familiar with them already. Well, today we're going to take a look at where these cold-blooded murderers are today, and what's the story behind their obsession with killing people. Number 1, Popeye. Popeye might sound childish and cute, but he's anything but. Juan Jairo Velázquez is the real name of Popeye, given to him due to his protruding jaw, which was later fixed through surgery. The story of Juan Jairo Velázquez starts in Yarumal, Antioquia, Colombia.
The cartel be cutting people's
Surprising
heads
as it might
off.
seem to you, but it's absolutely true. He used to be a part of the Colombian National Army, and then joined the cadet school of the National Police. A hitman like Juan Jairo Velázquez used to be a part of something that was solely created to protect the public. Let's dig deeper. At first, he was part of the school of NCOs of the Colombian Navy, but then he transferred to the National Police Academy, where he studied for only 1 semester. What did he study there? How to shoot people with enough efficiency that they didn't get to blink twice after the bullet is in them? Wherever he learned his skill, it helped him kill 257 people. Well, that is the number of people that he has willingly confessed about murdering. Who knows about the people whom he has killed but hasn't confessed to? Not only that,
collaterals,
countless kidnappings,
kill streaks, all type of kill
common
streaks,
citizens,
all type of
and
UAVs.
People is Santos. Not only him, he also kidnapped and murdered Carlos Mauro Hoyos and several other famous politicians in Colombia. So we guess it's safe to say that no matter how rich or influential you are, all it takes is a bullet from Escobar's hitman. If you're horrified after finding out how many people he killed himself, wait until you find out how many killings were arranged by him. 3,000 murders. You heard that right. 3,000 murders were successfully planned by the psychotically genius.
Bro, this dude is about to wipe out
people might even call him
half
a genius
the
when it comes to
freaking population in the
even
city.
If it was other people's deaths. Definitely not something you should use for inspiration. Jokes aside. Where is he right now? 6 feet under. Dead. Gone. Finished. Doesn't breathe the air of this land anymore.
Caught him.
Popeye is a vicious killer. He sure does clean up nice.
¿Cómo aprendió a matar? Me dice a los 12 años. ¿Usted se recuerda cuándo y a quién fue la primera persona que mató?
No, ya el primero que yo maté fue para el 17 años de edad. Fue a un despachador de buses que había, que cuando era primero era conductor de bus.
I got some things to say, but I'm scared. Cartel's gonna get me, so I'm gonna keep my mouth shut.
Cuando conducía, no espero que se bajara y no que la señora se iba a bajar y se cayó y la mató. Y la dejó ahí tirada como un perro, entonces ese fue mi primer asesinato.
In an interview, Juan fondly talks about the first time he killed. He reveals he bagged his first kill at 17. At that young age, Juan was driven by a sense of righteousness as he killed a bus driver who was responsible for the death of a close friend's mother. Later on in the interview, he reminisced about the first time he ran into Pablo. Believe it or not, Juan used to work for Pablo's mistress. When she left the country, Juan went knocking on Pablo's door, looking for a job. And the rest.
Oh, he got a job for you,
From
alright.
1992 to 2014, he served in prison and received a sentence of 30 years. Murder, extortion, terrorism, drug trafficking. He got out in 2014.
Bro, who's the dude that escaped prison every time?
Just
kill the nigga, man.
Old habits die hard,
Prevent
I guess.
that
The guy was
issue
constantly
real
in and out of
quick.
prison until he finally died of stomach cancer. Interestingly, he also set up a YouTube channel during his time out where he told stories about his time as a vicious, stone-cold killer. According to him, there
I
was
actually like
80%
videos
chance
like
that he was
that.
going to be killed
I watched a
by
video
former
about
gang
this
member.
guy who
I
was
guess
in
even psychotic killers
mafia.
are safe from cancer. Moving on to the next hitman of the world's deadliest drug lord. Number 2, Quica. Quica,
Quica.
or Andeni Munoz Mosquera,
Ay,
is considered by
Quica.
many to be the most ruthless and violent out of all of Pablo's killers. Andeni made his way into the Colombian drug war after being inducted into the Colombian army. However, he was soon discharged due to several minor theft charges. From here, he made his way into Pablo Escobar's cartel, the Medellin cartel. This is when he was given the nickname of La Quica. La Quica means fat girl and was given to Dandeni due to his resemblance with his aunt. La Quica soon rose to the top of the cartel's ranks and became an expert at everything torture. Not only was he one of Pablo's most trusted hitmen, but was also responsible for helping Pablo's army of killers. La Quica ran a sort of training camp for hitmen. Kids, usually boys, but sometimes...
Gosh. Oh, word of advice.
La Quica ran a sort of training camp for hitmen.
Cut that
Kids,
off.
Usually boys, but sometimes girls too, were taken from the street and trained to be loyal and expert killers for hire. La Quica was one of the best at what he did. After murdering his victims, he would carve the words KK on his victims. This was so he could prove that he was in fact the one responsible for the murder. It is rumored that he also skinned his victims alive and sometimes went as far as having them castrated. For La Quica to
I just looked up castrated definition.
Surviving since he had humble origins. His father, believe it or not, was a policeman, while his mother was an evangelist. He was also related to the church during his early life. The US was after him for quite some time. However, they couldn't do anything since they didn't have the jurisdiction. All this changed after the 1989 bombing of Flight Avianca. You see, Pablo Escobar liked to make a statement. If one person needed to be killed, he would have the entire bus or plane blown up. For the murder of an inside informant, La Quica was hired to blow up an airplane. The hour-long flight was cut short as the plane blew up in midair, killing all 101 passengers on board. This plane had 2 American citizens on board, the death of whom gave the US a reason to come after La Quica.
I genuinely think that my neighbor, well, not my neighbor, but the dude who lives on the street next to mine, I think he's a part of the cartel.
Crime made La Quica the
it's
first
this
person
buff,
to be convicted
tattooed,
under the
bald
1956
Mexican
federal
dude.
law, which criminalized bombing of civilian aircraft. He was also the first person to be tried under the 1986 terrorism statute, which allows the U.S. justice system to put foreign criminals on trial in cases of American death. The U.S. tied La Quica to 220 murders and the Colombian government to more than 440 murders, although the Colombian government never really pressed formal charges. La Quica was caught and underwent trial in 1994. Later found guilty, he was sentenced to 10 life sentences and 45 years to be served consecutively. La Quica is still serving his sentence and is staying at the same prison where the infamous Unabomber is locked up. In an interview from prison, La Quica surprisingly denied all of his crimes.
Yo le dije que por qué, si yo no había cometido ningún delito. Y ellos dijeron que no le importaba, que si yo ayudaba, yo traía a mi familia para acá y me daban dinero. Pero que si no les ayudaba, me iban a condenar a cadena perpetua o me iban a matar en la silla eléctrica. Y me condenaron a cadena perpetua.
I know I've seen that viral video of those dudes that got pulled over by the cartel, those 2 white dudes.
Number 3. Nelson Hernandez. Nelson Hernandez also goes by the name Blackie and was born in Colombia. This nickname was given to him because of his African descent. Being a close associate and partner of Pablo, he was one of his most trusted associates. For the longest time, he even worked as a guard and a hitman for the ruthless drug lord. Nelson was widely known for being a bully, but Pablo trusted him enough to let him hang out with him and feel comfortable knowing that they are right where you need to be. Nelson was famous for assassinating and murdering people. He would do what Escobar asked him to without thinking twice, which it turned out wasn't exactly the best approach. Under Escobar's employment, Nelson kidnapped Felix Gallardo, Miguel Angel, and Isabela Batista in Cali and brought them to his boss's estate in Medellin. He helped Pablo out of 1 or 2 sticky situations by attacking Colombian judges and setting fire to all the evidence they had against him. Pablo was really pulling the strings on Nelson, as he had him kill cartel boss Kiko Moncada. Blackie was most important to Escobar when he carried out the 1993 Bogota shipping center bombing, planting 220 pounds of C4 plastic explosives in a car parked in a downtown shopping center. As a result of the bombing, over 20 people were left dead and almost 70 were wounded. Feeling guilty over what he did, Hernandez apologized to God while watching television footage of the aftermath of the attacks. Kids, women, and innocent people were killed, and it was then that Hernandez started sensing that maybe Escobar was going crazy. Scared, he lied about seeing his wife, Maria Henao, and their daughter, Manuela, in a hotel window in order to prevent Escobar from forcing him to stay put until he saw them. However, he was arrested by police as he left the payphone. He was interrogated by the DEA. Rather than be hanged for the bombing, he gave Agent Javier Peña and Agent Steve Murphy details on Juan Diego Diaz, leading to the search block raid on Monte
snitched.
Casino. As of right now, no one knows where Blackie really is, and it's assumed he's alive and well in the witness protection program. Anyway, that was all for today's video. You think the Netflix show told the entire truth about Escobar and his sicarios? Click this video
The
to find out
bikini
what they were
killer.
hiding
This dude's
from
a
you.
freak.
Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, hit the notification bell, and
Dang. Don't mess with the cartel. Stay away from the drugs. You know, things like that. Make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe. I got something for you. I'm gonna call up some of my guys. Some of my hermanos. Yeah. Catch y'all later though.